Hi, this is K-Bar User. I believe it was TR Prepper that started the tag. Ruger said he'd love to see me do a video as to what 9 people I would take with me on this tag. The tag is Invasion's Imminent. We know there's a hostile force hitting the United States. Who would I take with me? There were some rules. One of the rules was to repeat the rules. So there's no changing of categories. Only small YouTube channels. Do a response. No cheating. And explain my choices. Okay. I guess number 1 choice for a commanding officer would be me. I don't like to toot my own horn, but I am SF trained, light weapons, medical, sniper trained. I've been in combat before, and so I basically know what I'm doing. So, I had to pick an executive officer, the second in command. That would go to Cole Craven. I don't know if Cole has any prior military experience, but he seems to be a very level-headed guy. He's very good in the woods, very innovative. He seems to have a personality that we could hash back and forth about major decisions and come up with a solution rather than an argument. He also has a great channel. If you get a chance to, go see it. It's Cole Craven. One word. Great guy. Now, my number 3 would be the voice of reason. With me, that's hard. But I think if anybody on YouTube that I watched so far that would be able to settle me down, make me listen, I have a voice of reason, that distinction would have to go to Ruger Dude 3. He's a very level-headed young man. That is the name of his channel, Ruger Dude 3. He seems to be a very level-headed guy, and usually if I'm in a stressful situation, I don't need anybody yelling at me or getting overly excited. I just need somebody calm who's going to state the facts, and that's it. It's not that I get out of hand, just that I get sometimes one-sided. And he seems to have the calmness to calm. So, number 4 was a tough one. It was a craftsman. I had to go with small YouTube channels, and my first choice was Pooping Android. Andy's a welder. He's got a great channel, and it is a very small channel. And he's very innovative on the stuff that he does. He knows a lot about backpacking, hiking, physical fitness. He's a welder, so he can fabricate things. Hence, the craftsman. Honorable mention to that spot would also go to Mountain Man Journals. Number 5 would be a police officer. There's a lot of guys out there that would be great police officers. I want somebody with a little more personality that would be able to diffuse a situation rather than to manhandle it. This gentleman also has prior military experience in the British Army. He's great as far as his woodsmanship skills. But he just seems to have that edge that he would be able to diffuse a situation, but if needs be, go hands-on. That would go to the SGT Sergeant Fruitcake. Great channel. You can't get out of his channel without a chuckle. Go check him out. Number 6 would be a scout. Now that was a tough one. There's a lot of people in this YouTube that would be way up there in the scouting area. For that I picked Brent 0331. He's a former Marine. I don't know if there is any such thing, but once a Marine, always a Marine. Brent is really up on his tactics. I've seen him in his battle dress doing different camo reviews. And he practices, he has shoot house videos, he practices and keeps up on his tactics. I believe he would be a good scout just because he'd be able to get in and out of places. He knows the use of camouflage and his weapons. He would know what a good defensive position would look like, what good water is, an overall picture of the area, how to navigate in and out. Good point, man. Number 7 would be a medic. Outside of myself, I don't know too many people on here that are medical trained. The only 2 people I know is Sarge Faria and Mika Phoenix. So my pick would be Mika Phoenix. She knows how to use weapons. She's really willing to learn anything. And she is a nurse. She does work in a hospital. Honorable mention would go to Sarge Faria. Number 8 would be a tactician. Now, I honestly believe an executive officer, along with the scout who just looked over the terrain, and the commanding officer should all sit down and do this. Create the tactics that is needed to get the team in and out of such an area. For that, I picked the guns are essential. I believe it's 1975. Guns are essential 1975. He's a young man. He knows his weapons. He'd be able to work as a backup for the scout. And between the 4 of them, me, the exec, the scout, and the tactician, we'd be able to find a way in and out. He'd be able to go and tag along with Brent and see the area and say, okay, this is a good area. Number 9 would be a roughneck. I'm not quite sure what a roughneck is. The only roughnecks I ever heard about was like guys that worked on oil rigs, so I would take it as the hard worker of the group. The guy who's willing to jump in and help everybody. And that would be Gun Crazy 81. That's Ruger Dude's brother. And he just seems to be the type of guy who is willing to work for the benefit of everybody. And is not afraid to get his hands dirty. He seems to be good with his weapons, knows what he's doing with them. And that's what you need on a team. Somebody who's willing to cooperate and also can shoot back. Now for my young gun, that would be my number 10 position. This is a really tough one. There's a lot of people out there. There's the Glock Ninja, there's Cigar Buff, there's Tactical 47, there's Shannon from Youth to Wild. There's a bunch of people out there that would be a great young gun. My nod would go to the Mighty Dozer. Dozer's a young man who is willing to learn just about anything that has to do with being in the woods. Which is number 1, not so much of a combative nature, as if you're only going with 10 guys, you want to be more the defensive nature and also survive. you would need a young gun to step in, carry ammo, learn everything everybody else in the group is doing in case one of us go down. Somebody else could take over without too much trouble, and he'd be able to fill their position. Or fill the position of the person who went down. So for that, I picked the Mighty Dozer. There's many honorable mentions. I think most of the gun community, the survival community, the bushcrafting community on YouTube are great people. I'd love to have you all with me. But narrowing it down to 10 is a tough one. And all I got to say is, Jayhawk, you're going to wind up fighting yourself on one of these teams. So they're my choices. This is K-Bar User. I hope you enjoy them. Don't forget to hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I'll be getting out of this bedroom as soon as it stops raining here. And this is my man cave. I'll be getting out of here and starting to do some bushcrafting videos and survival videos as soon as possible. So y'all have a good night now.